Greetings, my name is Sharon Brennan. I am a faculty member at the University of Kentucky and a member of the committee that produced the training mandated by the regulation governing admission, placement, and supervision in student teaching. On behalf of the committee, I am pleased to welcome you to the training, which is designed to prepare you for your supervisory role. The module you are about to complete is one of two that all new student teachers, supervisors, both cooperating teachers and university supervisors, must complete before beginning their work supporting and assessing student teachers' growth. The other module consists of a short quiz completed through the edmodo.com website. We hope you will find the training helpful as you prepare to work with a student teacher for the first time. We ask that as you review the material in the module, you make note of ideas about ways to support, guide, and assess the student teacher with whom you will soon be working, and also make note of questions to ask the educator preparation provider, student teaching coordinator at the university where you are affiliated once you begin working together. The primary learning targets or objectives of the module are to review A, the roles and responsibilities of the three members of what is commonly referred to as the student teaching triad, B, the ingredients or components of the term best practices, and C, co-teaching strategies to promote professional growth. The training is the result of a collaborative endeavor involving representatives from several educator preparation providers in the state, the Education Professional Standards Board, the Kentucky Department of Education, and the P-12 schools. Please note that as you progress through this module, the entities will be referred to in abbreviated form. Two practicing teachers from the Jessamine County Public School District will serve as guides for this module. Angela Miller, who is a second grade teacher at Red Oak Elementary School, and Lorenzo Villalobos, a fifth grade teacher at Wilmore Elementary School. Before they begin, the Associate Commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Education, Dr. Amanda Ellis, has a few thoughts to share about the importance of the work you are doing preparing teachers for what is arguably the most important profession in the world. I will now turn the session over to Dr. Ellis.
Hello, this is Amanda Ellis, Associate Commissioner over the Office of Teaching and Learning at the Kentucky Department of Education. And thank you for being a part of this training and support of student teachers. Just as a reminder, and in partnership with the universities and our Education Professional Standards Board, the Kentucky Department of Education offers lots of resources that we would encourage you to take advantage of, as they are free and accessible at all times, that would guide you and your student teachers around standards, model curriculum framework, classroom management, and lots of other resources that you could utilize to help prepare student teachers before they go into the field on their own into education. If you'll take a look at this screen, I've given you a screenshot of our standards website to show you the content areas. If you notice to the left, there will be information about programs, coordinated school health, our standards, our model curriculum framework, textbook information, and even high school graduation requirements. This is just one component of what our website offers. And if you also notice, there is a person who would be your point of contact for additional information and support around this information. Again, we're so glad that you have chosen to take on this major responsibility of helping to prepare student teachers and provide guidance and support to them. And we encourage you to reach out to us at KDE to help us build your pipeline and to elevate our field of teaching. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Miller.
And I'm Lorenzo Villalobos.
We are pleased to have the opportunity to serve as guides for this training module. We are both classroom teachers who have served as cooperating teachers, roles we really enjoy. Before addressing the primary learning targets for this module, let's quickly review some fundamental elements. The first of these is the regulation itself as it relates to the training of the cooperating teacher and university supervisor.
Now, let's quickly consider the terms we are using for the training. As you review these terms, it is important to note that the cooperating teacher, university supervisor, and student teacher form a triad working together through consultation and collaboration to prepare the student teacher for certification. The term triad is used to emphasize the importance of communicating clearly and specifically when determining strengths and growth areas that inform the action plan designed to promote growth. We will come back to that point later in the module. We also need to consider the framework for growth articulated through the Kentucky Teacher Performance Standards. These standards can be accessed through the link you see here. We encourage you to review these standards and discuss with your student teacher how they are used in the life of a teacher.
All supervision of a student teacher consists of a network of support from the P-12 faculty, cooperating teacher, and the educator, preparation provider, or EPP supervisor. Both supervisors serve as mentors to the student teacher in their own unique way. The cooperating teacher gives informal and formal feedback on how the student teacher is meeting expectations on all aspects of the way they are assessed through the EPP's performance evaluation instruments. As indicated earlier, these instruments are based on the Kentucky Teacher Performance Standards, or KTPS. The EPP University Supervisor is a second pair of eyes observing the student teacher periodically during the placement period. He or she also conducts written assessment as the placement progresses. Both mentors serve important roles supporting, assessing, and mentoring the student teacher throughout the student teaching placement. One of the most effective ways to assess the success of a student teacher is to see his or her impact on the growth of each student he or she touches through their teaching, assessments, feedback, support, and building relationships with their students. This point cannot be overstated. It represents the heart of teaching and thus supervision.
Now let's look at the roles and responsibilities of each member of the triad. The cooperating teacher, who serves as the teacher and supervisor in the P-12 classroom, the university supervisor, who represents the EPP and liaison between the cooperating teacher and student teacher, and the student teacher, who is developing expertise. Detailed descriptions of the roles and responsibilities of each of these professional partners can be found in the handbook published by each EPP, which can be found on that university's website. Please be sure to review the handbook for the EPP with which you are affiliated when you begin working with the student teacher. With that understanding in mind, we now want to briefly review the basic responsibilities related to each member of the student teaching triad here. As you consider the critical responsibilities listed here, think about how they will be enacted. Also, think about other key responsibilities associated with this role. As you consider the critical responsibilities listed here, think about how they will be enacted. Also, think about other key responsibilities associated with this role. As you consider the critical responsibilities listed here, think about how they will be enacted. Also, think about other key responsibilities associated with this role.
Effective teaching is grounded in best practices. Practices drawn from research evidence that informs planning, teaching, assessing, and providing feedback. The conversations each and every day of student teaching between the cooperating teacher and the student teacher should always be rooted in these practices. Let's take a quick look at these practices and their roots. High leverage practices and evidence-based practices have been drawn from the Collaboration for Effective Educator Development, Accountability and Reform, or CEDAR initiative, which has involved extensive research. CEDAR helps EPPs and policy-making agencies in states across the nation revise licensure standards to align with reforms, refine performance evaluation systems, and realign policy structures and professional learning systems. In partnership with the Council for Exceptional Children, or CEC, CEDAR has developed and published a set of high leverage practices, or HLPs, appropriate for supervising teacher candidates. We encourage you to check out the CEDAR website by referencing the link on this slide.
Culturally responsive teaching is a process to help teachers think about specific ways to help students across demographic groups succeed and work together. The CEDAR initiative has focused considerable attention on the type of practices best suited to addressing the needs of the diverse array of students in our classrooms. You will find information about culturally responsive teachers by referencing the link on this slide. And when you access it, think about additional practices that you might suggest. Through a team effort, the Kentucky Department of Education identified characteristics of highly effective teaching and learning, CHETL, as Support's focus on the instructional core. The teams looked at the research that established these characteristics and have organized them around 5 components: learning climate, classroom assessment and reflection, instructional rigor and student engagement, instructional relevance, and knowledge of content. Review the website for information about CHETL as you think about how it fits with other evidence-based practices.
Robert Marzano has identified effective instructional strategies based on data resulting from substantial research initiatives and ways to support student-teachers' growth. Visiting these instructional websites will provide access to valuable information, including some reproducibles. We invite you to reflect on which ones work best for you and your students. Utilizing best practices during supervision involves several components as indicated in this slide. Support begins before the student-teacher arrives in the classroom with careful preparation. The 4 steps listed in this slide provide a structure for supporting the student-teacher once he or she arrives and throughout the placement. Evidence has shown that these steps can be effectively operationalized through co-teaching.
Co-teaching occurs when 2 teachers, in this case the cooperating teacher and student teacher, work together in a classroom with groups of students, sharing the planning, organization, delivery, and assessment of instruction, as well as the physical space. Both teachers are actively involved and engaged in all aspects of instruction. It is not simply dividing the tasks and responsibilities among 2 people. Co-teaching not only helps break the ice as student teachers plunges into the work with the cooperating teacher on the first day, it helps maintain a collaborative, engaged approach throughout the placement period. 6 recommended co-teaching strategies are organized in this slide according to how they are usually implemented. You will find more information about co-teaching by referencing the link shown. Careful planning is the foundation of effective teaching. Think about the difference between being a proactive teacher and a reactive teacher as you consider how you will co-plan.
We never want to assume that something like active engagement will happen during the student teaching experience. Like many other facets of teaching, it is important that the cooperating teacher and the student teacher plan how active engagement will happen throughout the student teaching semester. It is important to emphasize the importance of co-reflection. It is often neglected, but it's a critical link in the success of co-teaching and student learning.
Frequent observations by supervisors are important as they provide a way to collect specific behavioral data about teaching and learning interactions that can be analyzed and shared during conferences. Here are 2 methods to consider. Are there others that you might suggest? After teaching a lesson, it is vital for the cooperating teacher and the student teacher to reflect on how the lesson was received by the students in the class as soon as possible. Here we see various points that should be addressed during co-reflection conversations throughout the student teaching placement. What other strategies come to your mind for reflecting together?
It is also important for conversations to occur periodically between the university supervisor and the cooperating teacher. Here are some of the important points to cover in the conversation concerning the progress of the student teacher. Remember that it is also important to include the student teacher in these conversations, even those that may be uncomfortable. Are there other points you would want to discuss in these meetings? As indicated earlier, student teaching performance evaluations are based on the Kentucky Teacher Performance Standards. They are also aligned with the Kentucky Framework for Teaching. These links will allow you to access those standards.
As we conclude this module, we hope you will remember the importance of communication among the 3 members of the student teaching triad. This communication triangle represents in a visual format emphasizing the importance of clear communication throughout the student teaching placement. This triad represents a cornerstone to build a successful win-win-win situation for all stakeholders.
Many thanks, Angela and Lorenzo, for serving as our shepherds today through this important and valuable training session. And for those of you participating, congratulations. You've almost finished this part of the training that is required for all new student teaching supervisors. In order to be certified to work with a new student teacher, however, you must complete one more step. You must send an email to the coordinator at the university with which you are associated with the information presented in this slide. As indicated in the slide, your message must include both a statement verifying that you have reviewed all of the material in the training module, and that statement may be as simple as, I'm writing to verify that I have reviewed all the material in this training module, and also a brief narrative describing at least one idea that you gleaned from this training that you will take into your supervision of student teachers. In closing, and on behalf of the entire Training Oversight Committee, I want to reiterate our hearty thanks for participating in this session and for your efforts to promote high-quality teaching. We hope you will find this training helpful as you are working with student teachers going forward.